The Samurai Turned Pretty is cringy, it's predictable, it's a little incestuous if you think about it. It's a hot mess dumpster fire, but I love it all the same. Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Kayla's Movie Corner. Now, I decided to do a rewatch of The Samurai Turned Pretty a few weeks ago ahead of the season 3 premiere, you know, and that was even before we got the teaser for season 3. And let me just get this out the way, let me put it out there. I am in fact Team Conrad. Yep, because guess what? I do have brain cells. Yes, I do have critical thinking skills, and I am not blinded by attraction to the actors now. Now, my Team Jer girls, I have nothing against y'all. I have nothing against Team Jeremiah, okay? I get it, okay? I'm Team Jacob forever, okay? Okay? And that's simply because I think he's more attractive. That's it. That's simply it. And that's good enough a reason, baby girl. It's okay. It's okay. But let's start off by doing a quick little plot overview. So if you have no idea what The Samurai Turned Pretty is, or if it's been a while since you've watched it, the premise of the show is essentially that Belly has newly turned 16. She's coming into her own as a woman, and she is in love with her stepbrothers. Just kidding. They're not related. To her, that is. But they are brothers. Yeah, they're brothers. And they're a pair of brothers whom she has grown up with over the years because their moms are best friends. Now, this whole premise might sound a little bit insane, because it is, but it has in fact been done before in various forms. One of which is the classic film Sabrina, which actually comes up in the show in this season, and I will address it more once we get to that part. But the premise in Sabrina is that the main character is actually in love with her Jeremiah, who is the playboy man whore archetype, but she ends up spending more time with Linus, who is our Conrad here. And she falls in love with him, and they end up together. They live happily ever after in Paris. And so this show really dabbles into this theme and dynamic as Belly has been in love with Conrad her whole life, but ends up pursuing things with Jeremiah for God knows why. I don't know why she does it, but she does. You know, it's okay. And if you're wondering, what kind of girl would do such a thing? Well, let's take a look at who Belly is in season 1. Now, one of the first questions you may be asking yourself, and one of the first questions that I definitely asked myself when I was debating whether or not to watch this series, was why in the world is her name Belly? Well, if that's you, you should be relieved to know that Belly is in fact her nickname, and her full name is actually Isabel Susanna Conklin, and she's a mess, all the same. But she is our narrator, and thus we must support her rights in very many wrongs. But this show isn't called Belly, it's called The Summer I Turned Pretty. And Summer plays a key role in this story because Belly has spent every summer of her life at Cousins Beach, at her second home. Her mother, Laurel, became best friends with a girl rich enough to own a summer house named Susanna Fisher. And therefore, both of their families spend the summers together. I'm guessing they've done this ever since they spent those times in college together. And so the families consist of Belly, her mother, and her brother Stephen. And the Fishers consist of Susanna and her 2 boys, Jeremiah and Conrad. And so Belly sets up all of this in episode 1 and the whole show by describing her summer house. And I feel like this quote really encapsulates Belly and the time period that she is in her life. As she says, the summer house is made of lots of things. Beach, swimming pool at night, movie nights with the moms.
But the boys. The boys most of all.
Yeah, that's our girl, that's our girl, that's our girl. That's twin. Now reminder, Belly is in fact 15 years old at this point, which means this is the start of her boy crazy phase. We've all been there, we know how it goes. So we just have to keep that in mind as she makes some questionable decisions. But she continues, and for Belly, everything good, everything
magical happens between the months of June and August.
And mind you, the scene that plays while she says this is Conrad giving her a muffin.
June and August.
It's simply Conrad giving her a muffin. Like, that is how deeply in love she is with this man that this singular moment makes it in like top 10 moments of her life, best moments of the summer ever. Yeah, she's down bad. She's down bad for this man, okay? She would do anything for him. And so for Belly, these summers are the best part of her year because hello, she gets to be with her other mother. She gets to swim in the pool at night. And she gets to daydream about kissing Conrad. Hello. What's not to love? What's not to love? What's not to love? And no, that's not a joke. That's literally what her summer wish is.
You want his tongue in your mouth, you dirty little slut.
Her summer wish, aka the only thing she has ever wished for in her entire life, actually.
I've wished for Conrad on every birthday, every shooting star, every penny in a fountain.
Has been to be with Conrad. Which, no judgment here because, girl, haven't we all been there? But after discussing her summer wish with her best friend from home, Taylor, Joe really drives home the fact that this summer is different. It's not like all the other summers. Belly's different. Because as we can judge from this montage in which I can't tell you who any of these younger actors are supposed to be. Hello? Belly has dropped her glasses and the baggy clothes, making this her summer coming into her own as a woman.
You look a lot different than last summer, Belly.
Further evidenced by nobody seeming to know or recognize her anywhere. And I mean anywhere. Guy from the gas station.
Are you new this summer?
Cameron.
Totally would have remembered you.
The dead ball girls.
Is this your first summer here in Cousins?
Nobody knows that this girl ever existed before this summer. And so Belly has this sort of newfound confidence as she feels more beautiful when she looks in the mirror, when people tell her how gorgeous she is.
She's gorgeous.
But she's also insecure about this new treatment because it is so new. And she's always seen her best friend, Taylor, as the hot one.
Boys at school never look at me. Taylor's the one they look at.
She hasn't viewed herself as desirable, even by the person that she desires most. Conrad.
It doesn't matter what I do. He doesn't see me that way.
She's having all of these revelations right in front of this weird guy at the gas station.
Hey.
Who has a weirdly scary deep voice.
Hey.
Who very weirdly invites her to a bonfire that night.
Coming to the bonfire tonight?
Let's just move on swiftly from that. And so back in the car, she gets ready to greet the boys, aka she's getting ready to see Conrad, right? And the initial reactions we get from both of the boys as they see her for the first time this summer tells you everything you need to know. Tells you everything you ever need to know as they see her all grown up.
Oh, come here. Look who came back all grown up.
And I just hate everything about this so much. The words he says,
All grown up.
the way he says it,
All grown up.
the cadence
All grown up.
he has, his energy, his outfit. I just hate. Now this is what I'm talking about right here. Now this is a soulmate entrance, okay? Jeremiah didn't get a song. He didn't get a song. He didn't get a love theme. He didn't get a single note. He didn't get a guitar pick.
All grown up.
Conrad gets everything here, showing us that he is everything to Belly. She quite literally glows in the sunlight when she makes eye contact with this mysterious, moody boy.
I liked you better with glasses.
Just like, gets me every time. And the difference in their reaction tells you absolutely everything you need to know about the characters and how they view Belly. One is a superficial remark, and the other has a deeper meaning and a reference to moments past.
I liked you better with glasses.
And it's just, I love it here. There's absolutely nothing that could ruin this moment for me.
Pretty please. Pretty please. Pretty please.
I fear this is peak Jeremiah behavior. Younger brother deprived of attention and love behavior. This is just who he is. And you have to feel a bit sorry for the guy. You do. And maybe that's why Conrad is so sad all the time. because he has to deal with Jeremiah and his wife beater.
Boom!
I'd be sad too.
Boom!
But because Belly is the only girl in this summer house, she's closer with the moms than the boys are. And every summer, Belly and the moms spend the first night watching a movie together. But this summer is different, and the boys are going to a bonfire by the beach, and Belly wants to go too, but they don't invite her. So she decides to just drown herself in the pool. So she goes back inside, and she decides to call her bestie Taylor up, and she lets her know that she gave her a secret weapon and tells her to get her butt in a thong and take her booty to that beach. So Belly decides, you know what? This summer is different. So she sneaks out to the beach by walking alone at night. Nice. But, I really have to preface this sequence of events that takes place next because, a reminder, we're about halfway through the first episode at this point. And this is when you realize the show is really a hard watch sometimes. Like, so hard that I get so much secondhand embarrassment that I have to physically pause the show, get up, walk a lap, come back, take a breather, and then press play. This is one of those moments.
Quit embarrassing yourself. Are you kidding me? Are you okay? Belly?
Yeah, it's just horrible. It's just horrible. Belly is like trying to get away from this guy. Steven is like trying to embarrass her, like telling her to leave. He's gonna take her home, this whole thing. They're playing like tug of war. Everyone's watching. She falls down in front of Conrad. Conrad is about to make out with this other girl. This is just nightmare fuel. The literal worst thing ever. There's a guy in the background who says, she just ate it. Horrific, horrific, horrific. And then Belly makes it even worse for herself by choosing this is the correct moment to confront Conrad about who this girl is that he's about to kiss.
I thought you said that Deb balls are bullshit and all Debs are sheep.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Who are you? Oh, who is you? Who are you?
Oh, who is you? And then here comes Jeremiah's ass.
Belly! You came!
It's just cringe central. It's cringe central. I hate it here. I just hate. But all is fine. All is well. Because this is actually the night that she meets Cam, who is actually one of the best characters in the show. So Cam Cameron is truly a gem of a man, even though he reminds me a lot of a man I used to know. He reminds me a lot of my college situationship, who was a dull rock of a man, to be honest. But we'll dive deeper into that a bit later. But we first meet Cameron at this beach bonfire. He comes up to Belly after she falls down and embarrasses herself and introduces himself.
Hi, it's me, Sextus.
What did you just say to me? Don't worry, y'all. It's actually a reference to a Latin convention where they first met in the 5th grade, which is, that's absolutely insane to think about. Hello? Like, how did he recognize her? How unique is the back of her head to jog his memory up that quickly? Like, I don't know. I don't know. This summer is different, so I don't know how you recognize her, but all right.
Cool.
I usually just assume, like, oh, like, he probably just uses this line on, like, every girl he meets, and it's, like, his big opening line, whatever. But as we will soon come to realize, Cam is not that type of guy.
I can chill.
But regardless, I think the best way to describe Cam is what I wrote in my notes. He's kind of awkward, but really sweet. He kind of gives off the vibe that he hasn't been with a lot of girls and doesn't have that much experience in dating, especially if you compare him to the man from the gas station who gave creepy, flirty, weird vibes.
Get a boyfriend back home.
But Belly also doesn't have that much experience dating. And so they hit it off and they have some really cute moments.
I don't even like desserts.
But ultimately, Cam's fault is that he is not Jeremiah.
You mean Conrad?
And yeah, she says that. She literally says that. Verbatim. She says that verbatim to his face. Oh, Yeah, she knows. But let's just keep that in mind. But regardless of the inevitability of its ending, they end up kissing each other goodbye after the bonfire. And even though Jeremiah is low-key being a dick to him, he remains sweet and unbothered, which really cements his place as the nice guy, which unfortunately means he's not the one. But all of this is in addition to the fact that he is a nerdy ocean boy who is obsessed with whales.
Oh, nice spot. That is a young female humpback.
Shout out to you, Nina. You would be proud. And speaking of whales, he invites her to his whale boat the next day, to which she is running after the boat, but she's late and gets left behind. And so she watches the boat just drift away wistfully. But why was she late?
Wait, where are you going?
See about a whale.
Oh, right. Because she was with Conrad. Ooh, and oh. Yeah. Anyways, while Belly is at her first Deb meeting with all the girls, she throws away any of the etiquette that she might have learned in those 5 minutes that she's been there and runs after Cam Cameron after spotting him through the window.
Cam!
Like, girl, you're trying to learn to be etiquette. Don't be lusting after boys. But they have a cute little flirty interaction, and he asks her to go to the drive-in to watch a movie together. And of course, she says yes. It's kind of cute moment.
Sweet. Yay, cool.
Oh, I'm triggered.
Sweet.
How does he know that? How does he know that catchphrase? Like I mentioned earlier, Cam reminds me a lot of a situationship that I will call Nick. Now, Nick had a catchphrase that he stole from his friend. And guess what the catchphrase was?
Sweet.
Yeah, that was his catchphrase. So now Cam Cameron is dead to me, and I hope he marries Sky or a whale. But I digress. And he drives her to the drive-in. And what movie do they go see? Why, of course, Sabrina. Yes, the movie where a girl has been in love with one brother her whole life, goes away, comes back, is so much more beautiful, and falls in love with the other one. Oh. Yes, that's Sabrina. Yeah, that's the movie they decide to watch. Interesting.
I love that movie.
I'm sure you do, Belly. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you watch that movie on repeat. Okay? And as they're watching this movie, there's this like innocence flying in the air and a nervousness as both parties kind of inch closer and closer together, and they're trying to hold hands, they're trying to initiate some contact, but they're both sort of inexperienced, and it's really cute to watch. But the scene is also, it's so painful to watch because it really makes you feel like you're there. Like you are in this situation, wondering if your advances are going to get rejected, hoping that the other person feels the same. Your heart's beating fast. You can barely hear the movie anymore. You want to look over, but you don't want to make eye contact. It's absolute torture, especially if you've lived it. Like I have. Oh, let me tell you, I was watching a movie with Nick once, and we did this same dance of sort of like, inching closer and closer together, like moving my hand over until we finally held hands, and embrace the comfort of sharing this moment together. Except he, months later, mind you, after spending quite a lot of time together, told me that he never intended to hold my hand. He claimed that he only did it because he didn't want to make it awkward. Claimed that he did it out of societal pressure. Yeah, mind you, we weren't at a movie theater. We were in an empty lecture hall room. Society was not present in the room. The most pressure probably came from there. Like, there was no society in the room. Yeah.
But the way I feel right now, this is what everyone talks about.
So Belly and Cam lean in to kiss, conveniently right in the scene where Linus tells Sabrina she should never resist an impulse. And also, conveniently, before their lips get a chance to touch, the boys pull up to ruin the moment. Now, how did they know where to go? Who knows? How did they know what Cam's car looks like? Who knows? How did this timing work out perfectly? Who knows? But they end up leaving, and Belly and Cam get their moment alone when he drops her off at the end of their date. And by now, it's episode 3, and it's also Belly's birthday. My birthday's October 7th, don't forget it. And at Belly's birthday, there's this really horrific scene that occurs, of course, with again, Jeremiah, of course, being an absolute jerk to Cameron and starting the most like teenage boy conversation about vegetarians and meat eaters kissing and do you want to touch like meat touching lips but you don't eat meat. This whole thing. It's just, ugh.
In fact,
I hate it. It's cringe fest. But anyways, they all end up going to Nicole's party afterwards. And it's here that we are reminded of the sort of looming cloud above this relationship, which is the fact that Belly needs a date for the debutante ball, but she hasn't asked Cam yet. Even though they've seen each other a few times by now and they've been getting along, they're hanging out. And so the girls ask Belly about it, and the guys ask Cam about it, and Belly just claims that she hasn't had the right time to do it. But girl, it's giving that Cameron just isn't the right person. And as Belly and Cam are leaving the party, we get one of the greatest scenes in all of season 1, which is Cam asking, "Can I ask you something?" "Yeah. Are you into Jeremiah?" "You mean Conrad?"
what?
No, Jeremiah. No, he just flirts with anyone.
What?
Like, Belly cannot be serious right now. She cannot be serious right now.
You mean Conrad?
And what's funnier is the fact that Cam doesn't even try to pry more into why in the world she brought up that she's in love with Conrad out of nowhere. He didn't ask.
What?
He didn't ask.
What?
And he just accepts it. He's like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Cool.
And then Belly chokes out on asking him to the deb ball once again, and it's just not a good day for Cam at this point. He's really getting kicked down. He's got about 2 episodes left in this season before he disappears into the ocean forever. And unfortunately, it's all downhill from here. Like, Cam was only in 5 episodes total and only allowed to be happy for 2 of them. Yup, but we shall continue our descent into his demise, as it's now the 4th of July, and of course that means Margarita Gate. Now, let's keep in mind that one of the things that Belly and Cam first bonded over when they first met at the bonfire was the fact that neither of them drank. And they bonded over this again at Nicole's party because neither of them drank. And flash forward to Belly already being 1 margarita down by the time Cam makes it to the beach. Yeah, it's not looking good, bro. It's looking so bad that Belly actually comes up with the brilliant idea for everyone to play a drinking game, knowing fully well that Cam doesn't drink and would feel left out. Yeah, she's girlfriend of the year, really. But Cam manages to survive the drinking game, and he ends up vibing with the crew, playing cornhole with the boys and whatnot. And Belly, Shayla, Cam, and Nicole all end up sitting down at the dock. They're just chatting it up. But Belly only really cares about who's missing. Conrad, who is in the distance being a hot, mysterious sea creature who she can't stop staring at, which Cam notices. Yikes. Just vote. I already know I'm gonna be out. Just vote. Now, would Belly do this if she wasn't drunk? Yes, I think she would. But I think she wouldn't be staring so damn hard. Like, girl, get a grip. You're literally sitting with Nicole right now. Be so for real. Anyways, the girls end up leaving Belly because she's so drunk, and despite Cam's efforts to get them to stay,
Tell them not to leave.
Stay, you guys.
he ends up leaving too. But he comes back the next day while she's looking for Conrad and apologizes for how he left the other day and offers to take her on a walk to the beach. And they set up a little picnic, they watch some whales, eat some sandwiches. It's a cute little vibe date. It's very cute and wholesome, and Cam even brought fruit roll-ups for dessert, knowing that Belly loves a good fruit roll-up. But Belly can't do it.
Cam, I can't.
She can't stomach a fruit roll-up right now. And Belly starts to explain herself and her belly, and Cam already knows where this is going. Just vote. I already know I'm gonna be out. Just vote.
I obviously know the who.
All the meanwhile, Hallelujah is playing in the background. This is just chef's kiss peak sadness. R.I.P. Cam. It was nice to know you before you fell victim to Belly. Now, Belly's big side plot for the show, as I kind of mentioned earlier, is her being a debutante for this deb ball. And as a deb, she of course has to ask someone to be her escort.
Wow, guys, stop fighting over me.
Yikes, girly pop. Just yikes. But Belly being a dub is actually pretty cool for the storyline because it does give us a chance to see Belly on her own away from all of the boys and to see her develop friendships with some deb girls. Except these hoes. I hate these hoes.
Every Ivy, minus Cornell.
Ithaca is so bleak.
Ithaca is not bleak. Ithaca is gorgeous. Well, one of the deb girls is dating Steven. And Steven is a whole nother story. Now, I would describe Steven as dumb, but in an endearing way. Steven and Jeremiah are very much dumb and dumber when they're together, making some of the cringiest moments of the entire season. Exhibit A, Steven is singing in the shower while Jeremiah brushes his teeth. Oh, girl, it's you. Why is he low-key good? He low-key ate that up. He ate that up. Okay. He ate that up. Anyways. Exhibit B.
Those old country club boomers are gonna tip me so hard, man, they won't know what to hit them. Oh!
Steven humping the air.
Hit them. Oh!
While Jeremiah says, my boys gotta get that bread. Talking about how they're both working the country club this summer.
Hit them. Oh!
Yeah, anyways. But apart from providing cringe to the show, Steven has a love interest of his own, which is Shayla. And Shayla is one of the best characters, hands down. She's Belly's age, but she's confident in herself. She comes from a wealthy family, but she's genuinely a nice person and she's really into fashion. And she even takes care of Belly's bruise from the bonfire by magically whipping out some foundation prepped on a beauty blender straight from her purse. Okay. I have no clue how she pulled that one off or how she blended that out that quickly, but that's just Shayla for you. But she's also really into fashion, and since her and Steven are going to the deb ball together, she wants to coordinate outfits. So her and Steven are having lunch somewhere, and she starts describing this designer that she wants to work with.
Yeah, no, I think I've actually heard about it.
And no, the f you haven't, Steven. Why would you say that? Why would you lie? Steven knows damn well he has never heard of this designer. No, you haven't, Steven. No, you haven't. Oh. Anyways, she shows Steven some of the menswear options that she has in mind, but Steven sees the price tag, and it's nowhere near his tax bracket.
Oh.
But he doesn't want to embarrass himself in front of Shayla, so he just kind of stutters and doesn't really say anything, which makes Shayla think that he doesn't want to match with her. And this sort of small conversation really sums up why their relationship will never work out. And it's not because they come from different backgrounds or are in different tax brackets. It's because of Steven's insecurities. He has too much of an ego to ever admit to Shayla how he feels, and there's nothing she can do that will help him feel less insecure. Because Steven takes after Laurel in the sense that money matters a lot to him. And he has notions about what people with money think and who they want to be with and all of those sorts of things. And this really comes to a head at Nicole's party, where we see him looking at photos of Shayla in her dress for the deb ball. And Taylor comes up to him while he's in line for the bathroom and says, "Looks fancy, but I'd rather be comfortable." Which illustrates the choice that Steven has to make in this moment. Does he be with the fancy girl, or does he be with the girl that makes him feel comfortable? And Steven replies, look, girls like that, they're cool in theory, but Belly's
never gonna feel fully comfortable around them.
But the truth is he's not speaking about Belly here. He's talking about himself, which is why we see him making out with Taylor in the next scene. Because with her, he feels comfortable. They come from similar backgrounds. They've known each other their whole lives. He doesn't have to compete with anyone or anything. He doesn't feel like he has to compete with Taylor. He doesn't have to put up a persona to keep up with her. And he doesn't have to try to fit in. He can just be himself, and that's enough. And when Shayla finds out about Taylor and Steven hooking up, she handles it like a true queen girl boss. Like, she has definitely watched Think Like a Man. Because what she does is she says, it's not like we're exclusive, right? We're just having fun. right? Making him think that she never really cared in the first place and putting the pressure on him to either say it all meant nothing to him or to make the relationship exclusive. And what does he do? Well, of course, he does what any insecure man would do, and he fumbles. He fumbles hard. He fumbles so bad that Jeremiah has to be the voice of reason.
What? No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
I know how these things work.
That's right. Dumb has to tell Dumber that she wanted him to man up and say that they're exclusive. So Steven takes the hint and he goes back to Shayla. They have their moment and Steven says, "You just make me so nervous." Why?
Because you're you.
Which in itself is a sweet sentiment, but it unfortunately ties back to Steven's insecurities and why they will never work. Because Steven has put her on this unattainable pedestal, almost like how he idolizes and wants to go to Princeton so badly, even though he knows that he can't really afford it. He doesn't think that he's good enough for her. And so he builds this wall that he just can't seem to get past. First, it's just not being able to afford the right tux. Then it's, oh, she must be used to men who treat her like a queen. Then it's this poker guy she went to prom with. There's always some unsurmountable wall that he can't get past. He's just perpetually self-sabotaging this relationship. And poor Shayla is just trying to help him. But she's literally done nothing wrong. And there is unfortunately just no cure for a man who doesn't think they're good enough for you. A man who's insecure. You can't fix that. And like they say, if a man says you're too good for him, believe him. But Steven does have one saving grace, and that is the fact that he is Team Conrad. Yep, unite, because he knows where home is. He knows where home is. And when he pulls up and sees Jeremiah and Belly kissing, he almost throws up. And you might be thinking, oh, that's just because he's like seeing his sister kiss someone, yada yada. No. You want to know what the first thing he says is?
Wait. So what about Conrad?
Yes, he says, what about Conrad? My king, my king. And why does him being Team Conrad matter? Because unlike Taylor, he has been there every summer. So he's seen them bonding all of these years. He knows both perspectives, and more importantly, he knows that Jeremiah is a whore. And I'm not just saying that. After he catches them kissing, he goes inside to interrogate Jeremiah.
I really like her.
Dude, you like a lot of people.
Exactly. Read him to Phil Steven. Call him out. Like, please, Jeremiah, be so for real right now. Be so for real right now. That is so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. He literally saw you making out with that guy in a ghost party. Like, be for real.
Okay, but that was like a month ago.
Be so for real. Belly has been in love with Conrad her whole life. Okay? You not hooking up with someone for a month is not equivalent. It's not on the same playing field. It don't make sense. Baby. It don't make sense.
Ew. Oh.
But now we know that Steven is Team Conrad. It's only right that we talk about someone who is Team Jeremiah, which is Taylor. So Taylor is Belly's only girlfriend. She's her bestie from back home, and she comes to visit a couple of times throughout this season to give her 2 cents in on Belly's boy drama. Now, Taylor reminds me a lot of Jeremiah, actually, because she is super flirty. We see her with like a new guy nearly every time she's on screen, from calling Jeremiah Jeremy.
I like Jeremy better.
To cracking jokes with Steven.
We know you're gossiping about us over there.
Yeah, you wish.
Being seen with a new guy at a party. Like, she is always on the hunt. She's very playful, outgoing, and doesn't take life too seriously, which makes her a good foil for Belly, who takes everything to heart and has to have an inner monologue for every decision she makes. But Taylor, like Jeremiah, is jealous and a bit territorial because she's been Belly's only friend her whole life. So when she hears about Belly making friends with these debutante girls that she's only met this summer, she feels insecure and almost rolls her eyes out of her head. Fully. If you gave her some fireworks, I know who she's aiming them at.
Ow!
Now, Taylor's insecurities with Belly's friends stems from the same place that Steven's insecurities with Shayla do. money, because we can safely assume that Taylor grew up in the suburbs of Philly,
Right, not even that nice of a suburb.
just like Belly and Steven. And so when she gets word of Belly going to a debutante ball, making friends with girls who own estates, have boats, whose parents have connections to Frank Ocean, she feels insecure. And so when she visits for Belly's birthday, she takes respite in Steven, who feels the same way about Shayla as she does. But like Belly, Taylor has also had a lifelong crush on someone. Steven, my best friend's brother, is the one for me. Yes, BFB. BFB, my best friend's brother, my best friend's brother. So it's only natural that they end up hooking up at Nicole's party shortly after he's seen looking at pictures from Shayla. And Belly gets really, really upset with Taylor, but to be honest, girl, it's giving the call is coming from inside the house. Like literally in the next episode, Belly is 2 seconds away from kissing Conrad, who is also dating Nicole. So you really can't blame Taylor for going for her man when you fully would do the same thing. You would do the same thing. Like, girl, be for real. I didn't forget that you were dancing with Nicole, knowing that Conrad texted you back and not her. And you let her smile at you, knowing that he wasn't waving at her. He was waving at you. Belly and Taylor are very much two sides of the same coin. And I don't judge them too much for it, to be honest. Because have I ever kissed someone who had a girlfriend? Yes. Have I flirted with a man who was with someone else? Yes. These are just rites of passage. These are just girly things, teenage girl activities. It's fine. And so these are women's wrongs that I support and I understand. We've all been there. And by episode 6, the besties have made up just in time for the volleyball tournament, and Belly and Taylor are getting ready to beat out the competition. But the only person Taylor's rooting for is Jeremiah, unfortunately. But it's no shock that Taylor is Team Jeremiah, not only because she has many parallels with him, but because she can barely remember his name.
Jeremiah, not Jeremy.
She's never heard Belly talk about him, so she has no reason to hate him. She knows nothing about this man. Since Taylor only hears Conrad this and Conrad that from Belly's perspective of him ignoring her, playing with her feelings, forgetting her birthday, of course she has resentment towards him, just like any good friend would. Taylor isn't there the whole summer, and when she is, she has her own agenda to attend to. And again, I don't fault her for it. In fact, we actually do see some character growth from her at a boat party with Nicole. She's giving them a chance. You know, she's participating in the game, she's making laughs, making jokes with the Deb girls and the Deb hoes. She's looking out for Belly, who's kind of being left out for being a virgin. And she has fun being in the water and skinny dipping with the girlies.
Have to admit, I like your friends.
It seems that the tables really did turn for Taylor.
I knew they were bitches.
Well, that didn't last very long, did it? But it's okay. Taylor admits herself that she is right 98% of the time, so we can count this in that 2% alongside her jellyfisher Vinsta, because I don't know what that is. She just wants what's best for Belly, and from her perspective, the best is Jeremiah, because he's done nothing wrong, because he's done nothing. Period. Now, I think every girl's first best friend is their mom. So I think after going into Belly's relationship with her bestie Taylor, the next people we need to talk about are the mothers. Now, I'm just going to come right out and say it. These mothers have to be lesbians. You can't convince me otherwise. They have to be lesbians. But Laurel and Susanna serve as the foundation for why the children act the way that they do, especially Belly. As Belly is going through these different relationships and experiences throughout the summer, she becomes more and more interested in learning about her parents' relationship and finding out what went wrong there. Her parents are recently divorced, and they're kind of in this weird place where they don't love each other, but they still like each other as people. And in episode 1, we actually see her talking with Jeremiah about how her mom isn't even sad about the divorce, and how it's like she doesn't even really care.
Exactly. She doesn't give a shit.
And it seems like a sort of throwaway comment, but we learned that Laurel really didn't care.
It's not anything serious.
Of course it's not.
that she probably never really loved John. At least she never loved him as much as she loved Susanna.
There were always 3 people in our marriage, Laurel.
Which makes the dynamic all the more interesting between these mothers, because this whole time I'm waiting for them to start making out or something. Like, I don't know. Like, it's giving they've been in the closet, they've been repressing something. It seems like there has to be more to their relationship than what we see, or who knows, maybe they are just platonic soulmates after all. But they almost view Belly as their kind of joint daughter together.
I really want to see our girl in a white dress.
But throughout this season, it's clear that Belly is trying to figure out what it means to be in love with someone and how to know when to give up on a relationship and when to stay. And so as a part of this, she asked her dad if he still loves her mother.
I think I'll always be a little bit in love with Laurel.
And he kind of explains that it really isn't all that simple, that sometimes people grow and change in different directions and they don't fit together anymore, even though they might still have a bit of love for each other. And then she explains to her mom that she doesn't feel fireworks with Cam. She asks if she ever felt that with Dad.
What I felt for your dad was steady. It was like a cozy campfire that would keep me warm all through the night.
But that wasn't enough. And it's these couple conversations that really assist in pushing Belly to dump Cam, because she knows that she wants more in life than a cozy campfire. She wants to feel fireworks. She wants a blazing fire, even if it does burn her alive. Now I wonder, what if Susanna is the fire that would have burnt us both alive? Maybe. I don't know. But anyways, I just really do love the relationship that these moms have, especially Laurel in instilling in Belly the value of friendship and making sure that you are prioritizing friendships over relationships with boys. Because although Laurel might not be giving Belly all the answers and the exact guidance that she's looking for in her boy troubles, she does instill in her that friendship is magic.
You're magic.
And that's really the point of this whole story, right? Yep. But now that we have all of the side characters and side pieces out of the way, we can go to the man with the most side pieces of them all, and that is, of course, Mr. Jeremiah. Welcome to your tape. Now, another unfortunate victim on Belly's hit list this summer was Jeremiah. And he really is a foil to Cam Cameron because he is well versed in dating. He loves to flirt, very sexual, very bold. And 50% of his time in this season is spent either being cringe with Steven or hanging out with the hoes.
How come nobody ever wants to play with me?
And I'm being so serious right now, but it's okay. I'm not shaming him for it. You know, he's young. You gotta do what you gotta do. And one of the first scenes we see of Jeremiah is him at the bonfire where he's giving...
Where the hell have you been, Luca?
And then it ditches her immediately to go hang out with the Deb hoes.
Jeremiah!
And to me, Jeremiah and Steven are cut from very similar cloths. And they spend a lot of the summer together, apart from Conrad, because they both work at the country club. And while Steven works mainly as a waiter, Jeremiah is a lifeguard, which is very Baywatch of him. And he's very much, from his own words, an equal opportunist, which basically means he gives it out to whoever. Whoever wants it can take it. And his character really starts off very shallow.
Nobody's gonna want to hook up with you after they see you in this.
We only ever see him flirting with people, randomly goofing off with Steven, or lusting after Belly, or beefing with his brother.
Take it in, Steven. This is all ours.
What? There's children here. What are you doing? But despite all of Jeremiah's faults, he does have some cute moments with Belly, one of which happens in episode 1, which is where they knock on the walls in between their bedrooms to communicate. And, you know, I think that's really cute. That's something I would do, and I would find that cute and attractive. So I can't dock him for that. But it does not make up for all of the cringe he's put me through this whole season. And he just says things throughout the season that make you just not want to root for him.
Okay, I just like to kiss.
then be cozy with people. Oh, yeah?
Okay.
Okay, all right. So Shayla's cute and all, but I'd avoid getting sucked in.
Just say you hate love, I guess. He only really expresses interest in Belly that is simply either from lust or just being flirty. It's nothing that's deep. Nothing that has a connection to who she is or things she likes or anything at all.
My future wife.
Yikes for another time, but that's definitely not your future wife, King. Future fiance? Maybe, but not wife. Like when Belly comes down all done up and ready for her date with Cam, Jeremiah is astonished and he leaves the game
Damn.
to flirt with her, saying, "Damn, you look
Hot.
Okay. It's just a very surface level attraction that seems to have just started this summer and has no deeper implications or meaning. And this really comes out in him being super jealous whenever Belly is spending time with anyone who isn't him. Even with Cam, he's the one who dubs the nickname Cam Cameron after he stuttered one time after the bonfire. And he's the one who presses him at the dinner table about being vegetarian while Belly's a meat eater. I mentioned this briefly earlier about Jeremiah and his equal opportunist nature, but in this show, he is bisexual. And so we see him being flirty with guys and girls, and even this guy, Luke, at Nicole's party. And he's having a good time flirting with him when all of a sudden, he hears Belly laughing with Cam. And what does he do?
Yeah, I'll be right
Of
back.
course. He grabs the karaoke machine and starts singing at them to embarrass them.
No, please no.
Oh, come on!
This man just loves to grab the mic and sing. I don't know. And so Belly is getting the ick from Jeremiah, of course. And so naturally, Cam decides to join in. And now Belly is double icked out and leaves the scenery. Another one of the unfortunate cringes of Jeremiah is he loves to slurp other people's milk.
Can I finish your milk?
That sounds insane, but he does it multiple times.
Seriously, you gotta stop with the milk thing. It's disgusting.
And I just have to mention it because men who like milk too much are a red flag for me. Sorry. I blame Nick. He loved milk. But Jeremiah, along with being a victim of Milkgate, is also a victim of not being loved enough by his dad and of always being compared to his older brother,
I'm not that good, Dad. I'm not Conrad.
which is why he is the way he is. And it's really why he wants Belly in the first place. He isn't deeply and infinitely in love with Belly. He just finds her attractive and wants to try it out with her, especially if it means that he can beat his brother at something for once. If he can beat him to getting the girl, then maybe his family will pay more attention to him. Maybe Susanna will like him more. And if that sounds crazy to you, that's good. But let us remind ourselves that he tried to blow these two up with the firework when they almost kissed. And then the next day, he pretended like he had no idea they were even out there.
After you almost blew me up last night.
I said I was sorry. I didn't know you guys were out there.
Like, hello? Are you a sociopath? Are you a psychopath? Are you crazy? Are you okay?
Does chat ever take anything seriously?
Yeah, food and flirting.
True, that's exactly how I would describe this man.
Hey, Alexa, play So Pretty.
The So Pretty scene, I can't. This show is peak. This is like peak show cringe. I don't even know what was going through his head, but I hate it. Who let him do this? Who let the dogs out? Somebody let this dog out. Someone needs to put this dog back in the cage. And as much as I hate this man, I do have to give him his flowers for defending Belly in front of the Deb hoes. Yes, when the Deb hoes say that she can't dance, he defends her.
You know, Belly's actually a good dancer. The waltz is just dumb.
That's a true king right there.
Ew! Oh!
But of course, like anytime he does something good, he does something really bad. Because what does he do next? Oh, that's right. He throws his brother under the bus again when he hears Shayla and Nicole talking about wanting to go to a Frank Ocean concert. And he insists that they take Conrad as well.
Does he like Frank Ocean?
Loves them.
So that way he can have Belly all to himself. Yeah, that's brother of the year right here, folks. The look of guilt on his face kills me because you think, oh, like maybe he does feel bad for deliberately driving this wedge between Belly and Conrad. But then you flash forward to when he sees Conrad later that day and he's smirking. He's smirking like nobody's business when he hears that Conrad is going to go to the music festival. Like any chance for any sort of character development there, just poof, it disappeared right out the window. right out the window. And to make matters even worse, this is the same night that he chooses to make his love confession to Belly. Yup, she's enjoying her time in the pool, lollygagging away, doing her little night swim. And all of a sudden, we hear this agitating, grating voice. This deep sea creature pops up in the pool next to her, scaring her to her core, and confesses that he has feelings for her.
There are times I wanted to be more.
And Belly is taken aback. She's confused. But she decides to give Jeremiah a chance. Why? I don't know. Because literally, she says to herself in her head, Susanna always said I was destined for one of her boys. I always hoped it would be Conrad.
But here I am, about to kiss Jeremiah Fisher.
Like, girl, you should have just let that thought replay once more, and maybe you would have heard the craziness in it and maybe stopped. But it's okay, because you know what? This kiss scene eats. Yeah, I can't lie, it eats. The song choice, Are We Still Friends? The camera angle switch, it works. But again, this is a lust kiss. It's a surface level, hey, we're both attractive, let's just kiss sort of thing, which is fine. But considering the fact that she hoped that she would be kissing your brother instead, it's a little weird. It's a little odd. I must admit. Now, a Twitter theory that I've seen is the comparison between the ocean and the pool, which I think really comes into play in this scene because the kiss, of course, takes place in this pool, which is a confined space. It has bounds, no curves to travel endlessly around. It's not infinite. There's this sort of lust ceiling that will eventually be hit. And I think it's even further evidenced by the next day, which is Belly having nightmares in the morning. So it's the morning after she kisses Jeremiah, and she has this dream where she's laying next to him and he kisses her, but then she blinks and it's Conrad. And then she blinks and it's Jeremiah. And it goes back and forth between them. And you can just tell that she wants Conrad more. You can tell who's the winner here, who she really, really wants to be with, and who's just kind of like there because he's there. And what's even funnier is the way that she describes how the kiss with Jeremiah has impacted her life.
It's invading everything.
Like she's describing the kiss as if it's a parasite that is literally like eating her alive, haunting her nightmares, that won't let her live in peace. She is tormented. It's invading everything.
It's everywhere.
And after talking about this parasite that is eating her alive, Belly is getting out of the shower and is immediately cornered by the parasite himself, Jeremiah, as she is clutching her towel for dear life, trying to escape to her room, while he just hounds her about wanting to discuss the kiss and whatnot. And Jared just has this like slightly menacing energy where he likes to loom in the background and brood when things aren't going his way. Like at the tournament, when Belly is simply just talking to Conrad, or when she mentions that she's looking for him and he just decides to chase her down instead.
I thought maybe Conrad would be back by now.
Where have you been?
He has really, really bad younger brother deprived of attention syndrome, and I don't know how to cure it. And it really sucks because even when Taylor tries to help him out by faking an injury at the tournament for Jared to sub in and get in some bonding time with Belly, he just sucks. He misses every shot. He doesn't dive for the ball. He sucks. So then Belly has to tap in Conrad anyway, and they end up winning. Like it's just sad, low-key. But you know what makes it even worse and even sadder is that Susanna's not Team Jeremiah either. Like, poor Jeremiah has some cute moments of him just trying to bond with his mother, and then she'll just drop a bomb like,
Oh, you're such a good friend to Belly.
emphasis on friend.
Like a brother.
Emphasis on brother. Like, yikes. Poor Jeremiah. Jeremiah did not like that one. Or her just telling him about how happy Conrad looked when he was playing volleyball with Belly. Yeah, for Jeremiah, it's almost like every time he hears people tell him that Belly's in love with Conrad or they're meant to be together or they look so happy together, he takes it upon himself as a challenge to prove them wrong. And these brothers just really have such an odd dynamic going on because Jeremiah, this whole time, mind you, his whole life, he knows that Belly likes Conrad. He knows that they almost kissed. He knows that there's like something between them. But Conrad has no clue that Jeremiah has any feelings towards Belly until Steven tells him about a rumor at Nicole's party. And then they have this weirdly sort of cryptic conversation about winning, where Jeremiah says, "Oh, congrats on your win today. Oh, it's not about winning for me."
It's about doing things the right way.
Which really encapsulates kind of both of their feelings and perspectives about Belly, because Jer sees her as this sort of like prize that he wants to win, while Conrad sees her as someone who he really wants, and therefore he wants to be fully himself. He wants to improve himself for her. He wants to be ready to commit to her before pursuing things. He wants to do things the right way. He doesn't want to mess it up. But of course, for Jeremiah, that just goes in one ear and straight out of the other as he proceeds to make out with Belly in his car about an hour later. And then she asks him to be her date to the Deb ball. Yeah. And even at the Deb ball, I just don't see the connection between these two. I don't see it.
You're a goddess.
If you ever say that to me again, I'll throw up all over you.
Like, y'all can't convince me she's in love with this man. I'm sorry, you can't. But, since she's at the Deb ball with this man, it unfortunately means that we do have to see him dance in the boys' dance, which is truly a hard watch. And shout out to Shayla, because she is truly one of our strongest soldiers, because I don't know how she put up with this. I don't know how these girls still find these men attractive after being witness to whatever that was. But hey, to each their own. And although Jeremiah lives for moments like this, where he can dance around and show off his stuff, this time there's something else on his mind. His mother. And he decides to go through his mom's phone and he finds out that she has cancer again, which absolutely ruins the night for him. He doesn't dance with Belly. And when he goes to tell Conrad about what he found, he realizes that brother already knew and he didn't tell him. So what did he do? He punches him. Yep. He punches him. Yep. And then they have a brawl at the Deb ball. Now that all that's out of the way, we can get to the real love story here and the real things that have been going on. Now, as I mentioned before, Belly has been in love with Conrad her whole life. It's no secret at all. He's literally the only boy she thought of ever in her life. And she will tell you that straight up. But Conrad, this poor sweet boy is going through it this whole season. And the last thing he needs is to compete with his brother for the love of his life.
Pretty please.
But hey, here we are. Now, as soon as Conrad is introduced, we know that he is the hot, mysterious one. No question about it. But this mysteriousness is actually out of character for him. Actually, the majority of this whole season is him being sort of in and out of character as he's dealing with his mom having cancer again, but not being able to tell anyone or talk to anyone about it because it's a secret that she doesn't want the kids to know. She wants to have one last perfect summer in Cousins with everybody all happy-go-lucky together, and everyone knowing that she has cancer would affect the way that they act over the summer. And so to sort of rebel against this world that has plagued him with this burden, Conrad is all of a sudden smoking pot, drinking his sorrows away, and has quit football even though he was supposed to play at college. And although Belly doesn't fully recognize this new version of the boy she's loved her whole life, she still wants him. She still feels tethered to him to some degree. And it's in this limbo of not knowing what's going on with him, but still holding out for the version she knows and loves that this season exists in. And I feel like the questions here really become, does she wait for Conrad to be ready for her? Can she love anyone else the way she loves him? How does she know if this is just a silly little crush, a limerence? Or is something more? Which I think is the way everyone kind of feels about their first love or their first like big crush. But this sort of unrecognizability with Conrad starts from the moment that she first dips into the pool and sees him smoking and swirling his toes around in the water. He seems to be going along with her slightly flirty banter when he all of a sudden switches.
God, do you memorize every single thing that I've ever said?
Yes, I do. Well, duh. Like, hello, you're hot and mysterious and I'm in love with you, so why would I not?
I still think you should quit.
What do you give me if I do?
Oh, what do you want? What do you want? And what you want, I'll give you whatever you want.
I mean, sometimes I wish I was her daughter.
Well, then you couldn't date either of these brothers because they would be your brothers and that would be incest. So, no, you don't. And he almost tells her what's going on, but of course he's interrupted by Dumb and Dumber, and so he doesn't get the chance to. And flashing back to the bonfire, Conrad gets really drunk.
No, I'm fine.
And Jumper, the guy who hit on Belly, asks for his beer, and all hell breaks loose. They duke it out. Belly tries to stop it, but she gets rocked by Jumper. Jumper, I hardly know her.
No, I'm fine.
Sorry. Anyways. Kind of funny though, right?
No, I'm fine.
The cops get called and it's a whole thing, but Conrad is overall pretty unfazed.
Yes, I know.
How to get into a car.
And one thing I do love about Conrad is that when he's drunk, he's sassy. Yep. I like my man a little bit sassy. Yep. I like a little sass. Like, I just love when Conrad is drunk and sassy. Like, it's literally the best ever. Because I too am hella passive aggressive sometimes. Sorry. It's just nice to let it out. Like, especially if your brother's Jeremiah, oh, I'm putting him through the ringer. Duh. Like, Conrad even being scared by the blender, it fully just sends me into orbit. Like, that's so funny to me. I think that's hilarious. Sorry. I think that's hilarious. And after he gets into the car and Jeremiah leaves to get Steven because he literally forgot him. He fully forgot Steven. He does his little manipulation flirting. Yep, that manipulation riz.
Your hair's like a little kid's, the way it's always so messy.
And I know it's kind of weird, but there's just something about it that just like takes your breath away, you know? It's like, wow. Belly, I see what you see in him. I see it too. I too would be in love with him. And I've always seen Conrad sort of making these remarks about Belly. He's almost trying to convince himself that he doesn't like her. He's kind of reminding himself that, oh, like she's this little kid that he's always known, and he's apprehensive to taking things to a new level. But in reality, he knows that he likes her. He knows that there's something more there. And in the morning, Conrad is seen soaking on the beach when Belly comes to meet him.
Last night was amazing.
Shit show.
They're so in sync. But they do end up having a cute moment here where Conrad drops his banger line.
I always remember everything when I drink.
Remember that he always remembers everything when he drinks. And Belly ends up getting a laugh out of him as she asks for a puff, for which he pulls in Augustus Waters and puts the thing that does the killing behind his ear. And it's really in these moments that remind us why Belly is in love with this man. These rare moments where he's really nice, he's himself, he's funny, he's flirty, like it's fun. He's not trying to be anyone else or keep everything inside. He can just be free for a minute. But unfortunately, that only ever really lasts for about a minute before reality comes back to him. Like when Belly comes downstairs when she's all dressed up for her date, Conrad is shocked. And he can't help but stare at her as she looks at herself in the mirror. He even asks, with who, under his breath, because he wants to know who's the lucky guy. But later on, in that same night, during their fight, he acts like he doesn't care at all. Like he never cared.
You cared where I was, who I was with.
No, I didn't.
I know your game, Playboy. But before we get there, we have to go back to Laurel's book signing. And after pounding down some Chardonnay and taking up a job teaching Cleveland how to sail, Conrad's over this party. When Steven suggests that they go to the drive-in as a joke. So him and Jerem, they laugh it off. But Conrad is still intrigued. And so what do? They all go to the drive-in. Yep. Yikes. They go there, they make fun of Belly, they laugh it up, hee hee ha ha, yeah, whatever. But Belly is furious, and she puts on her girl boss pants on. Yes. She takes one look at Conrad and says,
Please leave.
and he folds immediately.
All right, let's go, guys.
he folds immediately. The smile completely disappears from his face, and he makes everyone leave, even though it fully was his idea to come here. It fully was his idea to come here. But the real kicker is when she gets home from her date, and he says,
How was your hot date?
and Belly just can't resist a good temptation to talk to this man. So they duke it out. They argue for a bit, and they have this weird tension, which really stems from neither one of them wanting to admit their feelings for the other. And Conrad is just straight up lying about not caring about what she was doing or who she was with.
You cared where I was, who I was with.
No, I didn't.
With who?
Even though he literally asked who she was going with under his breath earlier. Like, be so for real, King. It's just so messy. And to top it all off, Belly is so dramatic in her narration, saying, I wonder if this is how all crushes die.
With a whimper, slowly, and then just like that, gone.
When it's like, girl, you know damn well when you wake up in the morning, you're going to look him in the eyes and all the feelings are going to come rushing back. Like, stop lying to yourself. It's kind of like they're stuck on a racetrack and they're like going in circles trying to avoid each other, but they can't. It's like
That's infinity.
Now, the concept of love being infinite and boundless is really cute, but is that really what 8-year-old Conrad was thinking when he drew that figure 8 on her pancakes? I don't think so. But the fact that 18-year-old Conrad still thinks about and remembers this is what really matters here. Now, Conrad, of course, gets Belly an infinity necklace for her birthday, but he doesn't give it to her. Why? Why would he do that? Well, one of the possible reasons is that when Belly's getting her gifts, she ends up getting a pearl necklace from Susanna. And then we see Conrad sort of fumbling with the necklace. And I think that Conrad probably felt a little bit insecure about his gift. Maybe it would look dumb in comparison to Susanna's necklace. Or maybe he thought that she wouldn't remember infinity. No one really knows. But what I do know is that it pissed me off. That's right, I said it. It pissed me off. Right? Sue me. I don't care. It pissed me off. But luckily, Belly does end up finding out about the necklace because when Belly and Jeremiah are going to pick up Taylor from the bus stop, Belly has to go get the keys in Conrad's room. And she finds the necklace. Well. Isn't that infinity?
Doesn't he know, for him, I would have traveled endlessly around those curves.
Crazy quote, crazy work. But now that's just engraved in her head. And now she's just staring out the window, giving Sad Girl in a music video to Carly Rae Jepsen, My Type, playing in the background, while Jeremiah is like trying to get through to her and ask, have you asked Cam to the ball yet? And her response?
I think you should.
Nicole really likes Conrad.
Like, girl, the closet is glass. Oh, yes. And by the way, Conrad has been sort of dating Nicole this whole time. Oops. Yeah. And Nicole is Belly's big dead sister. Yep. Ooh. She's unfortunately the disposable black girlfriend who Conrad is either being nice to for 3 seconds or ignoring for 45 minutes. No in between. Yeah. Oh, and she's also Belly's big sister for the dead ball. And so she invites her to her party and surprises her with cakes for her birthday. Aw, how sweet. What a nice friend. And what does Belly do in return? Why, of course, she stares at Conrad whenever Nicole's not looking. Girl, you got a big storm coming playing with fire like that, but you do you. Now, episode 4 features one of my favorite Belly Conrad scenes, and it's them making the guest bed together. She's like in there alone. He comes in, he teaches her how to do it. He's being really sweet and nice. They're bonding. It's a moment. And what is Belly's first thought here?
Is this what it would be like if we were older?
Like, yes, girl. She immediately starts daydreaming of their life together, all because he told her to fold the corners at a 45-degree angle. Yeah. Well, yes. She's me. I am her. Now, if you're wondering why Conrad is being such a bearable person this episode, it's because Conrad hears that his dad is not coming for the 4th of July. And he is jumping for joy. He's excited. He pulls out the good blender for the margaritas. He's flirting with Belly. He's being nice to his girlfriend. He's flirting with Belly. Everything is well. And then suddenly, he hears his father. And oop! Moody boy is back in town. Daddy interrupts brother football bonding time. The dynamic is crystal clear. The dad likes Conrad more because he's better at football. He puts more responsibility on him, more pressure, expects more of him. But Conrad does not like him. And Jeremiah desperately wants his dad's approval, but he doesn't have it. He's not as good at anything as Conrad is. Not as good at football, school. He isn't a star football player, and he won't get the love from his dad that he so desperately seeks. It's so tragic, really.
Sea creature! Hello.
Oh, but yeah, that's enough of that. Back to Belly. So this is Margarita Gate, of course. And so Belly is so drunk off of margaritas. There's no hiding her crush in this state. This is peak drunk girl behavior, and I love it. Rejoice. She is double fisting margaritas in search of her favorite sea creature, and she finds him in the shower. Wet hair is just so romantic, isn't it? The girls that get it, get it. The girls that get it.
How many of those have you had?
2, 5.
Yeah, girl, she's gone. She's gone. Faded. She even has the balls to ask him about the infinity necklace. Oh, yeah, she's gone. But it's all right. We all have those nights, am I right? Right. Anyways, after she comes back to life, she joins Conrad in watching the fireworks on the pier.
Does everyone hate me now?
Who could ever hate you?
I know that's right, hello. I know that's right, hello. And so Conrad admits to getting Belly the necklace, and I love everything about this. It's just a sweet, perfect moment. This build up, they're leaning in, the moment's perfect. They're finally admitting things, being honest and truthful with each other. And then here comes Jeremiah, trying to blow them up, all because he's jealous. Like, hello? What are you doing, bro? Like, actually, what are you doing? This is crazy behavior. Crazy. You're crazy. And now I'm mad. I'm mad because you just ruined my perfect moment. This is her perfect moment. Everything would have been fine. The series could have ended here if they kissed. I was robbed of a kiss. We deserve to have a kiss scene here, and we're robbed. But it's okay. It's okay, because do you know what we get in the beginning of episode 5? Yeah, that's right, queens. We get a flashback scene of Conrad teaching Belly to dance, which cuts away right back to Belly dancing alone at Deb Ball rehearsals. Yes, this is cinema insinuating that she's meant to be dancing with who? Conrad, yep. And they're both so happy for once. It's so beautiful to see. But unfortunately, Cleveland comes in with a voice of reason and some good advice, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's true, but like, that's just not, like, can't we just be in love now? Like, ugh.
That you can't be good with someone else until you're good with yourself.
But of course, Cleveland is right in giving Conrad this advice, and he joins the list of people who know that something is not right with this kid right now. Right up there with the moms who want to help him but have no idea what he's going through. They assume that he's so depressed because of his breakup with Audrey, who's a character we've literally never heard of, so obviously it's not that, duh. She's relevant and not the answer. But all of this crypticness of him not really revealing anything and not telling anyone anything really reveals his character. And even the moms recount.
Remember that time he broke his arm and didn't tell anyone because he didn't want to be a bother?
Classic Connie.
He's really hiding these feelings, not for fun or not for attention, but for the fear of not wanting to burden anyone. But that burden really bubbles up inside him when he's on the boat with Cleveland and he ends up having a panic attack. But after learning some coping techniques from Daddy Cleveland, he decides to give Belly some advice for a big day at the volleyball tournament.
If you stay ready, you won't have to get ready.
Oh, that's not... Anyways, that was cringe, but it's okay. He decides to ask her to the dub ball because his mom did ask him, but he also still wants to ask her, so that's fine, right? Well... No, he ends up telling Nicole, and she takes it okay, I guess, but she's not dumb.
Why doesn't she just go with Jeremiah?
Yeah, I mean...
And she knows that there's something going on that he's not saying. And what's even more interesting is that he offers to get her a drink, and then the next scene, who's bringing the drinks? Right, Nicole. This man is so horrific to Nicole, it's hard to watch. He is so engrossed in watching Belly that he forgot to get his girlfriend a drink. Yikes. But finally, Nicole has had enough of this man and calls him out on his BS for basically wasting her whole summer while this whole time he was pining after Belly and not being real with her. Crazy, right? Damn. So what does he do after his breakup with Nicole? He sends Belly a "you up" text at 1 a.m. Yes, that's right. A "you up" text as in you up at 12:30 a.m. Yep. And she comes running as he confesses that he doesn't want to lose her. But unfortunately, she did kiss his brother already. So it is too late. But damn, don't you hate it when that happens? I sure do. I hate it when that happens. Top 10 worst moments. But it's okay, because at least Susanna is Team Conrad.
You're her Prince Charming, and we all know it.
And Jeremiah will never have that. But even though Belly ends up asking Jeremiah to the dead ball, he ends up having to go outside to cry about his mom having cancer, and Belly is left alone on the dance floor. So who's there to step in? That's right. It's up to you, Connie, baby, to save the day. Yes. So Connie steps in. He does the dance with Belly. It's such an amazing, beautiful moment. The moms are so happy about it. And to them, they almost view this as Belly's sort of wedding. And it's one of the reasons why Susanna was so excited for her to be a debutante, because she wanted the chance to see Belly in a white dress, to kind of send her off in a way that she knows that she would never be able to do at her actual wedding, because she won't live that long. And so it's really a full circle, full story arc for Susanna to be able to see Conrad and Belly happy together and spending this dance together as if it's their first dance at their wedding. And Susanna's not the only mom that's happy. Laurel is also happy. For Belly, Conrad is the sun, and when the sun comes out, the stars disappear. Everybody knows that this is everything to Belly. This is gonna be Belly's favorite moment for a long time. And they're dancing the night away, and Jeremiah comes back. He's foaming at the mouth, but it's okay. He survives. They survive their fight. And finally, we get our beautiful moment on the beach, and not the pool, because what is the beach? The beach is infinite. It's boundless. There's curves. You can travel around it. And we get some iconic scenes between them. The "I don't want you to need me, I want you to want me."
I do want you.
We get our kiss. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's iconic. It's beautiful. It's loving. It's everything you wanted. And one of my favorite quotes is Belly being like, "In this moment, I realized if this can happen, maybe anything can." Yes, that's right, Miss Ma'am. This kiss literally reinstilled her faith in the world, in humanity. She is me falling in love immediately, believing that anything can happen. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. But yes, that about wraps it up for season 1 of The Summer I Turned Pretty and all of the characters analysis within that. This video took so long to make, so I'd really appreciate it if you left a comment down below if you have any thoughts of your own. If you want to see me do season 2 or season 3, let me know in the comments down below. Give this video a like. Please subscribe so you don't miss out on any more videos. I'll also link a playlist here that'll have all of my movie commentary videos. But yeah, I think all in all, I really love the first season of this show. Season 2 is a whole different story. Season 2, whole different story. But that's okay. But yeah, I hope to see you next time. And I love y'all. Bye. Roar. Roar, 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 roar. Are you Team Conrad or Team Jeremiah? I'm Team Conrad, of course. I have brain cells. Yay. Anyways, that's all. Bye.